Welcome back. Partingate is the big craze these days in the left-wing media, and presidential debates are also on the menu. All kinds of crazy stuff happening at the Department of Justice, and to break it all down, my favorite segment, every single day we bring on a Democrat and a Republican, and we mix it up. I throw out the topics, they give both perspectives. One rule is this, at the end we shake hands and we part friends. We got two great ones today. Jadan Horyn joins us, he's a Republican strategist. He's also a contributor and writer for Metropolitan Magazine. And David Eisenbach joins us. He is a professor at the esteemed Columbia University. He's also been a candidate for New York City Public Advocate and one of my favorite Democrats. Thank you, boys, for coming. So you got yourself in some trouble today because you usually know how Burnett moves when you guys mix it up. Now you got to go against Jadan. You guys haven't been on together in a while. So be careful. Why is everybody going crazy about these pardons, David? What's like presidents? I just talked about it in my open. For decades and centuries, have been pardoning people who are their friends and giving them some favorable treatment. What's the big deal here?
Well, I think that the process that is usually it goes through the Justice Department. They have a special department that's dedicated to processing the appeals. And so he didn't go through that process. It clearly was friends, people who were on The Apprentice or he knew from his New York days, like Bernie Kerik. So it feels off the cuff, which is kind of typical for how Donald Trump operates.
Isn't that okay? But didn't people love him because he's like off the cuff?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this whole pardon issue is nothing more than, the media wanting to create something out of nothing. One, when we're dealing with Rod Blagojevich, we're dealing with the governor who, ostensibly, according to prosecutors, tried to sell a Senate seat that used to be occupied by President Obama. Obama obviously wanted him shut up. Look, the Justice Department prosecuted him. He went to prison. Should he have gone to prison for as long as he did? That was an open question. The fact that Trump is responding to people who are appealing to him, I think should be applauded. We should have presidents that respond to people that appeal to them. We wouldn't have Alice Johnson out of prison if there wasn't a response to personal appeals by
Kim Kardashian and Kanye West.
Exactly. And I think that's exactly
that's strange,
that's
isn't
what
it?
we should be looking at our president and our governors, people to have the pardon powers to do.
So hang on, I want you guys to take a look at this clip because the left-wing media has taken to calling Trump all these names about this and stuff. Now let's take a look at this. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Posturing. I mean, I think that he means it, but I think he's trying to make a point. Look, this is personal now to Barr. This is embarrassing for Barr. He's the one who has to report back to everyone who works at the Department of Justice. And I think that for him, as a result, this isn't some broad matter of right and wrong and the rule of law. This is about the fact that, in effect, you are disrespecting me.
All right. The president has universal power to do this stuff, right? You are presidential authority.
Look, it's in the Constitution. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if Trump really wanted to stir up some trouble, the people he would be pardoning would be marijuana federal prisoners. There are over 10,000 of them right now. We have states all around legalizing marijuana. If he did a mass pardon of a few thousand, mainly Latino and black prisoners that are in our federal prison system, man, that would be devastating for Democrats. How do we answer?
I think that'd be a great political move.
It would be a brilliant political move.
It absolutely would. Look, I think Barr, is in between a rock and a hard place. Unfortunately, he publicly took on the president, and we know when you take on Trump publicly, he's going to do the opposite of what you want him to do. So I think whether these pardons or what's going on with the Roger Stone issue, that the media tries to create this illusion the Justice Department is some kind of independent branch that doesn't have presidential oversight, except when we have Democratic presidents like JFK and Obama who politicize the Justice Department. So it's a really convenient conceit that apparently Barr has fallen into. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, throughout history, it's always been this kind of gray area. What is the relationship of the Attorney General and the Justice Department with the president? Are they part of the cabinet, or are they sort of directly ordered, like he is with the Defense Department as commander-in-chief, or are they kind of a separate wing? But as you say, throughout history, from Warren G. Harding right up through Jack Kennedy, Franklin Roosevelt, they all use the Justice Department for their political ends.
People are saying that Obama used it a lot The only difference was he went over there and he whispered to the Justice Department, and Trump kind of tweets it. So that's, a stylist thing, but the same results came out. Obama had a lot of sway over at the Justice Department. But let's forget about old presidents. Let's talk about future potential presidential candidates. And we got this big debate breaking out tonight where Mini Mike has finally made it on the stage. Pretty cunning, I would say, to get on the stage for a debate when you're not even on the ballot.
Well, he basically bought his way into the DNC, one of the most corrupt organizations in American politics, and they gave him the go-ahead. They changed They changed the rules
You see that?
just
See what
for
I did
him.
there? I rang the bell because Democrat, Republican, Independent, we're all agreeing on something.
But I
the
will
DNC
say,
is corrupted inept. I love it.
Mike Bloomberg's going to be in for a tough night because everybody's got their knives out for him. Everybody's going to want the clip of them landing the big blow, whether it is on stop and frisk or whether it is on harassment in the workplace or the solidarity visit to Goldman Sachs. Mike's going to have a rough night.
So speaking of the debate tonight, the presidential debate, Mike Bloomberg, Donald Trump's been calling him Mini Mike and all this other stuff. We'll see if he's standing on a box, as the president has been saying. But Trump just keeps slaughtering him, and Bloomberg keeps coming back. Take a look at these tweets from the president going after Mini Mike. What Mini Mike is doing is nothing less than a large-scale illegal campaign contribution. He's spreading money all over the place only to have the recipients of his cash payments, many former opponents, happily joining or supporting his campaign. Isn't that called a payoff? And, when Trump starts hitting, lately I've been seeing Bloomberg come back at him. Mini is illegally buying the Democrat nomination. They're taking it away from Bernie again. Mini Mike, major party nominations are not for sale. Good luck in the debate tomorrow night, and remember, no standing on boxes. So he still hit him with the boxes.
Look,
the Mini.
Throwing around money in order to get elected is nothing new to Mike Bloomberg. He spent $100 million to get elected mayor of the city of New York, and then got the city council to reverse itself and reverse a referendum to put term limits on. Right? So he can throw his money around, and unfortunately we have a lot of corrupt Democrats, both here in New York City and in the DNC, who are just willing to take that cash.
So, Jadan, isn't it funny? The leading candidate for president on the Democratic side is not even a Democrat. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat, for those of you, not following that closely. He's not a Democrat, okay? And now, number 2 in all the national polls, he only became a Democrat 2 years ago. So isn't it crazy that we have 2 basically non-Democrats leading the pack?
I think this is what we have going on. No one believes in what the Democratic Party stands for anymore, and the Democratic Party doesn't know what it stands for. And so it's either going to be socialism as the future of the Democratic Party, or some kind of mushy mouth, statism, nannyism, paternalistic state that Mike Bloomberg is proposing. But liberalism, as defined by JFK, is dead.
It's very similar to what happened with Republicans in 2016. The entire Republican establishment was against Donald Trump. He took the party away from them because you're right. America is fed up with the establishments. They're fed up with the lies. They're fed up with the hypocrisy that we have in both political parties.
And the threat of Mike Bloomberg and his money is not lost on Bernie Sanders. Now, they're all cannibalizing each other in a Spanish firing ring, right? They're all got their guns aimed at each other. But take a look at what Bernie's advisors had to say about Bloomberg. This is a low blow.
Got to worry about what they're being sold. And I think they're being sold a bill of goods here. And look, the answer to Trump's right-wing reactionary politics is not a hostile corporate takeover of the Democratic Party or of the White House. That's not the answer.
So I guess he went on to say or allege that Mike Bloomberg had a heart attack at some point, which Bloomberg is denying. Bernie recently had a heart attack. So strange they would be taking that aim, right?
Yeah, certainly Bernie does not want the word heart attack to be out there as running for president. Not a good idea.
I mean, this is the risk when you have old candidates, right?
Right. You got all
they're going to all accuse each other of having heart attacks.
Right.
Everyone's had a heart attack.
70-year-old white folk for the party of diversity and equality. But Bernie also, he's not releasing his medical records. And he's saying he might release more and this other stuff. But Bernie might have some issues in the medical department. No, they want Trump's tax returns. How come they don't want Bernie's medical records?
Well, you know, the Trump did kind of set the precedent where you can just get away with not putting out your medical records or your tax records, and you're not going to pay the consequence. So Bernie might do the same.
All right, Jadan, David, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys being here to mix it up. We got a whopper of a Women Wednesday coming for you. You know, on Women Wednesday, when we get the great guys, we got to bring them in anyway. But the rest of the show is going to be all Women Wednesday, like you can't believe. Kelly Rydell Sadler is going to be here, former special assistant to Donald Trump and communications director for America First Action, the only official pro-Trump super PAC. And Kelly will be with us right after this.